going on, guys? Snaggy here, and it's time to review round 17 of the 2025 NRL season. I enjoyed season. I enjoyed all the games over the weekend, boys. Well, most of them, a couple slingers in there, but overall, pretty damn awesome. We kicked it off with a crazy game, which I cannot wait to get into, man. It was absolutely awesome. Let me know how you went on your tips this weekend, boys. Now, look, I'm going to level with you. I did do the dirty on yous. I did change quite a few of my tips, and I'll put my tips up on the screen now, but we ended up with 6. We got the Bulldogs wrong, we got the Eels and Dragons wrong. It was just, see, look, this is how it goes down, right, boys. When I'm doing stuff on Monday, Tuesday, I get the team list, I have a bit of a look, and then I usually look at a few things, lock my tip in. Now, that's worked very good over the past few years, but this year we've had to peel it back a bit deeper, and when I started to peel things back a little bit more, the closer games got, I had to change my tips with a lot of them. So I ended up going 6 for, which I'm not too mad at. And, Bulldogs really could have got that one. It could have been 7 for, which would have been incredible. So what I might have to do is I pretty much know what the team lists are going to do anyway. Normally I like to wait till the team lists come out before I, put my tips in. But I might have to do all my research and stuff on the Monday, let it marinate for a day. Then the team list drop, then I do my video or something like that, because there's been quite a few games this year where I'm like, don't change your tip, and I don't. And the team who I thought was going to win sort of last minute does win, and the team that I tipped, didn't win, So, I might have to do something like that because, it's happened to me a lot this year. I'm like, I know this team's going to win, but don't change your tip, bro. Stick with your gut, and then, No. But anyway, it's all good. So not too bad. All right, boys. So State of Origin team just dropped as well. I'll pop it up on the screen as well, boys. Look, not a ton of changes there. Nathan Cleary in, Jerome Luai in. So he's obviously fine. Reece Robson stays. So the only real changes is Jacob Carraz, 18th man, which is wild. Lindsay Smith, and then Bradman Best. So no real changes. I'm glad he did stick with a lot of them, but man, I don't know, bro. I don't know. One thing Keon was, I think, sold his jersey on the weekend. He was awful. And, I thought, not Tiny May. Tyrrell May's been a little mid. Still incredible, but, not the standout he was in the first 6 to 8 weeks sort of thing. So I sort of get it, but, he's going to have to get more out of them because they're definitely going to have to play better than they did in Game 2 if they want to close out this series. So let us know what you think about the team list. Let us know what you think about the weekend of footy. Drop all your comments. Drop all your big wins over the weekend in the comments. I love seeing them, boys. And let's get into this damn thing. Panthers hang on against the Bulldogs 8-6. 2 tries in a full 80-minute game of footy, and I was entertained for every goddamn second. What a game. And then this game, 28-10. Was not entertained at all. Bit of a slinger. Then we had the Raiders defeating the Knights 22-18. Broncos get it done against the Warriors 26-12. Dragons defeat the Eels 34-20. Was that Okar out, boys? Was he out or wasn't he out? Let me know in the comments. Dolphins another 50 piece for the Dolphins to 28 against the Rabbitohs. Storm 30-6 against the Sharks, and Cowboys hold out the Titans 30 to, man, I needed Titans. I needed bloody Cowboys under 29. So close. Why'd you have to kick goals so good, lads? Come on. But yes, also I'd like to thank each and every one of you that has subscribed too. We just hit 12,000 subs as well, boys. So super stoked about that, boys. That's double our. We had 6,000 subs at the start of the year, so doubled them already, boys. We're only just over halfway through the season. Thanks to everyone that has subscribed already. And if you're not already, what are you doing? Hit the sub button, boys. You're killing me here. You're killing me. All right, let's have a look at the ladder now. I don't think this one would have updated yet. What was that final game? Storm? No, so let's go over here. Raiders up on top. 28 points, most wins. Look at that. 2 wins clear of the Bulldogs in second, with 2 buys in hand. That is crazy. But on 28 points with the 2 buys. So we have... So Storm have played the same amount of games, and they're 1 win shy of the Bulldogs. Warriors can't wait to get to that. Poor old Metcalf, man. Broncos up in fifth. Well, they've been in fifth the whole time, but, they edge a little closer. Roosters, 20 points. Panthers in the top 8 and Dolphins. Man, I hope Broncos do finish fifth versus the Dolphins in 8th. Semi-final up here, or whatever it's called, preliminary final, whatever it's called. That would be epic. That would be absolutely epic. And then we have Seagulls. Sharkies dropped to 10th. Sharkies are in 10th. They're out of the top 8. Dragons, Cowboys, Knights, West Tigers, Eels, Rabbitohs, Titans. That bet's looking good, boys. My bet's looking good. Titans to get the spoon. All right, let's get into it, boys. Like I said, man, you don't have to have a high-scoring game for a game to be entertaining. This was sphincter shutting. I can only imagine being a Panthers or a Bulldogs fan watching this. I'm a complete neutral, and I was on the edge of my seat. My full couch did not get used, only the edge. It was so good, so high quality, absolutely incredible. And before this game, like I said, I wasn't sold the Panthers were back. I know obviously they were substantially better, but I wasn't sold they were back in this one. And I'm going to be talking about this game the longest. Obviously, boys, I like talking about the good teams. I'm not going to sit here and do what 360 does and talk about the bad teams for the whole show. I'm going to talk about the good teams, and these are two very good teams. So can't wait to get into this one. Let me know what you thought about the game, boys. Yeah, look, Panthers, their defense is sorted now. They are officially back. I'm not saying they're not playing as good as last year or the year before, but I also don't think the top teams are playing as good as the top teams last year, if that makes sense. Okay, so the last few years, so Storm last year, absolutely incredible. You know what I mean? Then the year before that, Broncos were absolutely incredible. Year before that was Eels were absolutely maybe the teams this year are about as good as the Eels were, but you know what I mean? I just feel like the bottom teams are better, top teams aren't quite as good, and it's just level. It's so level. It really is. We are starting to see the top 4 streak out, but I really do feel like the Panthers are back and absolutely can win the comp. I mean, I was so close. I had the lid off the pen ready to write a line through them when they were sitting in 17th not too long ago, but all this confidence they got now, they know they can win it, and if they get into the finals, they are currently, the greatest finals team of all time. And I know there's a few Dragons fans watching now that'll go, no, the Dragons in the 50s were. No, the Panthers are on a longer winning streak in finals than they were on. So they're a big game team, and they can get it done. They really can. It's absolutely incredible. And just before I get into the game, doggies, I was sitting there during this game, but just going, you must be so proud of this team. I don't think people realise how trash the Bulldogs were 2 years ago. I know they didn't win the spoon in Serrato's first year, but they were the worst team assembled in the last 2 decades. There might have been worse teams. Maybe some of those Bunnies teams in the early 2000s or whenever it was were worse, but that Bulldogs team was so garbage. They were lucky they jagged a few wins at the start of the year, and the Tigers had such an awful year, but Bulldogs were the worst team. They were god awful, and then to now be running this out and doing those type of performances in big games against the 4-time premiers is goddamn impressive. You should be super happy with what's going on there. It's actually incredible. I remember sitting there going, wow, just what an improvement. It's even if they fluked the way into not fluked, well, let's say they were just going good, but in the top 6, sort of maybe how the Broncos have been playing. They've gone on a few skids. Even that would be impressive. But just to have such a high standard of footy after being so bad 2 years ago is absolutely insane to me. It really, really is. It's not like they've just been blowing teams off the paddock and then losing some and being inconsistent, but so are the teams around them, so they're sitting in 5th. They're playing such good footy, man. So let's get into it. Super low scoring game. First try in the 32nd minute to Jacob Preston. Brilliant try. And then a try in the 53rd minute to Nathan Cleary. Now let's talk about the Cleary charge down for a second, because not real Bulldogs fans, but some Bulldogs fans, I saw the chat saying, yeah, but we scored our try off a good footy play and you guys scored your try off a fluke. That was not a fluke. that was a good footy play as well. How it should actually, and the real Bulldogs fans know that's garbage as well. But I'm just saying, it's more the casuals think that was a fluke. That's a footy play too. It's just an individual footy play. It wasn't a team play. That was purely Goat Cleary doing goat things, being most clutchest player in the comp at the moment, doing a really clutch play. And let me explain why. And just before I get to why, Bulldogs have the best charge down guy in their team, Viliami Kikau, and I don't think you guys think it's a fluke every time he does it right. So you try and charge the ball down. But anyway, Galvin comes on. Not a long kicker. Sexton is in dummy half. He knew Matt Burton was going to be kicking the ball. Nathan Cleary's not a kick pressure guy, so he's not like he just ran out and fluked it. I've been saying this since Burton went to the Bulldogs, and everyone else knows, and I can't remember who else told me this, but there was a video up. He has the slowest kick in the comp. The slowest, like it's the biggest, but it's the slowest. So from the second the ball touches his hands to the time the ball leaves his foot is the slowest in the comp. And I absolutely promise you that Nathan Cleary knows that. And if I know that, then I promise you that they know that too. When he saw Galvin on, Sexton at halves, who has a decent boot on it, he knew Matt Burton was getting the ball. He knew he had the slowest kick in the game. It was a slow-ish play the ball. He knew he could get there. He charged it down 100% intentionally, knowing no one was behind him, charged the ball down and scored a try. That was 100% not a fluke. It was an incredible individual rugby league play by one of the best players and definitely the best clutch player in the comp at the moment. So the whole fluke thing, definitely not. But I do get where you're coming from, where Penrith did not once skin the Bulldogs. So I get you. I understand what you're trying to say, but you're wrong. Having said that, yes, Bulldogs were able to skin the Panthers, and Panthers weren't able to skin the Bulldogs. So advantage Bulldogs, but yeah, it's still a rugby league play. It was very intentional and done well. So yeah, just crazy awesome. Now just on Cleary, like still looked a little hampered by that groin, I think it is. I have to see how it pulls up, but their season's hanging on his shoulders. So hopefully he can get sorted out. He's going to have, a week off, essentially, and then Origin, and then going to have to back up. So we'll have a look at both these teams' runs over the next few weeks because I don't mind spending a bit more time talking about these two teams. Just on the Moses Leota as well, just want to give him a rap for a second. I mean, I think he's the best big game prop ever. I mean, not ever. Glenn Lazarus was. Modern era. Definitely currently playing. Whenever there is a monster game, like Fisher Harris always got the accolades at that club. But if all the real ones watching, you'll know that have watched games closely like I have. Every single big semi-final, grand final, whatever it is, Moses Leota either buckles someone, folds someone, hits someone, beats someone into submission, or just has whatever, an incredible carry that just really changes momentum in the game. And this one was knocking out Saluka Fafita in the first carry, was it? Like in the Parramatta game in this grand final, he folded Junior Paulo. I mean, I think it was the semi-final. He folded Latrell Mitchell. He couldn't get up. The Broncos game folds Paddy Carrigan, bumps Paddy Carrigan, puts him on his cheeks. Like he is so incredible in big games. I just want to give him a rap because I know bro never even wins prop of the year. Like he is so elite. Like he's so incredible, man. I hope he stays one club, and I hope Penrith really look after him post-career because he's a big reason why those guys are all wearing 4 rings right now. He really is. He's absolutely enormous. Thought Mitch Kenny was really good. 61 tackles. McLean Critter. I saw a lot of arguments about, who. Like, I thought Critter was incredible. I really do. And if you watch my pre-game, I sat here and go, man, McLean could be in for a big night tonight. He might have a real welcome to rugby league moment right here. So impressed. Like, I'm not saying he shut down Critter, and even though a lot of people did, but he handled him extremely well. Like, they went to him a lot. Like, Critter ended up with 200 metres. Like, so what's that say? He got the ball a lot. But 207 metres, but when you go a little further down here, so 19, so he had to deal with him 19 times, ran for 200 metres, which is incredible, but 0 line breaks, 0 line break assists, 0 try assists. That's damn impressive because they went to him a lot. I said this about Casey McLean when he got signed. Like, first of all, I clicked on his bloody thing. I couldn't believe how bloody young he was. Like, what the year he was born in, I was like, what the hell? Like, he was born in 2006, man. That is wild. That is wild. He's like 4 years young. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I said when they signed him and his brother that they must have seen something in these two that they're going to be superstars. Like, obviously, I'm pretty sure we can safely sit here and say that Penrith have a pretty good idea who's going to be a superstar, right? They've seen them come through. They've seen them come through from 14, 15, 16, 17 into superstardom, into the NRL, what it takes to be a superstar, and then becoming one, handling the big moments. And they must have seen it because they signed both these kids till 2028 at 18 years old. Now, that they didn't do that with To'o, Critter, Tiny May, Tungo, Taruva. I mean, there's more I'm missing, but none of them got that big, long contract immediately. That tells me that they've seen something and they're like, they're it. And I was actually really looking forward to this matchup. I thought Critter was going to dust him. But I was really like, man, if he can hold his own, he's going to... You watch this kid elevate now. You watch this kid elevate now that he's handled, not saying owned, handled Stephen Crichton in a big game, because I'm the biggest Stephen Crichton fan, and I didn't know... I thought the days of the centre being dominant, like the Mal Meninga days and all that sort of stuff, were dead until Stephen Crichton came along, and he's been able to dominate games from the centre position. But what a job! He's what a real smart decision too by Ivan Cleary to put him in the centres as well, because he did look a little dicey in at the fullback position. Like, probably doesn't quite have he hasn't filled up. Like, he's actually got a similar frame to Critter. He just hasn't filled out yet. If you go watch Critter when he was 19 years old, very similar. Very, very similar build. So when he fills that frame out, gets in the gym, eats more hungies, he's going to be an absolute problem. I bet my bottom dollar. Like I said, Penrith aren't signing scrubs till 2028. Like, yeah, they could literally go... They have cash in their cap. They could literally go buy a good centre if they... But anyway, tremendous. I thought Connor Tracy, especially his defence in this game, was top notch. I just want to give him a rap in general. I always thought he was a good player. I was very impressed with him last year, but I genuinely thought, man, that could have been a flash in the pan. It's sometimes you can just have a good year, you know what I mean? But I was like, he's gotten better. And his defense in this game, chopped down Blaise Salungi, was absolutely enormous, and he was great, man. Really, really good. And I just thought so many players got cancelled each other out. I didn't think anyone was bad, you know. Let's have a look at some of these stats though from the Bulldogs. Max King was great, 154. Matt Burton, 130. Just incredible, man. Montoya, Stephen Crichton, 207. Sherry, 151 from the... Like, they played good. That's what's great. That's why I know Penrith are back too, because Bulldogs have been on top of the table and they played good. They really did. Just quickly too, Brian To'o. If you are a young winger watching this, and after the State of Origin game, I said, like, Brian To'o was a GOAT, right? And a lot of people pushed back. I'm not saying he's the GOAT because of the tries he scored. I'm saying it because of his defence. If you're a young winger, just go back and watch his game and watch his defence. He is the best defensive winger I have ever seen. Like, he is enormous. His ability to read his ability to make the tackles, including the one that he took on Sherry, that was a penalty. That was a flawless try. That was a flawless tackle. I know I got given a penalty because of the whiplash, but that was a perfect tackle. He absolutely folded a beast in Bronson Sherry. He's the GOAT. Like, he is so special, man. I'm just, absolutely incredible, man. Milky Jenkins was great too. Dylan Edwards, 298 metres. Wow. Now, they did I saw the tactic of, now, teams have tried this in the past in finals and stuff, kicking to Brian To'o a lot to take him out first tackle, and they do have a good kick chase. It actually worked, but he still got busy. But yeah, Tungle substantially better. Look, this is the thing, and we said this, right? And when Penrith were getting pumped, on their losing skid, we sort of sat here, and one of my things was I felt like Liam Martin, Isaiah, Cleary, all these guys were pulling their weight, but Tungle, Jenkins, McLean, Blaze, Lindsay Smith, like a lot of the other guys just weren't. Last week, they didn't have any of their stars. They all played awesome. I said, if you drop these State of Origin players back in and they perform, now you've got a problem. And honestly, the rest of the competition now has a problem. So let's have a little look at the team stats here, boys. So Bulldogs, not plenty more, but 52% possession to 48, 31 minutes to 28. Hands did let them down a little bit here. Now, this is just what I want to talk about. I actually thought the Bulldogs were brilliant in this, except just one little flaw here. I love an offload. Boys. I love it. You hear me say a lot, why don't they just offload? I just didn't like the way they were offloading in the final 20 minutes of this game. Okay, so they were panic offloading. They were TPJ offloading, which is hit, chuck, boom, chuck. Didn't like it. Created a few errors. Balls were getting passed to guys not in better position than the current person. So, boom, could have fell on your front, got to play the ball. You've passed to someone, they've sort of grabbed it, got tackled there on their back 3 metres behind you, getting a slow play the ball. So you just went from there to there, from fast play the ball to slow play the ball, just stuff like that. Offload has to be contact first, arms free. He's in a better position than me. Here's the ball, not goosh. So I didn't like that. I loved the idea. I actually really liked the idea because I thought it was great. Like, they couldn't crack them. I know they had one try, but that's not exactly breaking them open. They couldn't just crack them by running slick block shapes. So they're like, let's hit and spin and offload. I love the idea. It wasn't executed right. They just hit and chucking. But I did love the idea. So good forward thinking from the Bulldogs, and I don't know if that came from Serraldo or someone on the park, but it was clearly a thing, because let's come down here. They ended up with 17 offloads in the end. I'm pretty sure they average about 10, so that's substantial. I think maybe less, 7 or 8. So, and it did end up with a few more errors. They still completed 32 sets, what isn't horrendous. So, yeah, I did. That was just one little thing. I was just like, a few less offloads, but just quality. Boom, arms free. Boom, not boom. They're the TPJ offloads. The Bulldogs fans know exactly what TPJ offloads are, because they had to sit there and watch them and go, how's this dude on $900,000 a year? An extra 21 runs for the Doggies, so it did well. Extra time in possession, so they plenty of metres. 1 post contact, 3 line breaks apiece, scam so easy, and 31 tackle breaks to 29, extra 6 metres per set. Penrith got him in the play the ball though. The ruck speed was fast. 15 offloads to 17, as mentioned. Kick defusals, I don't understand how that stat works, to be honest. Tackle efficiency, both around the 88. 29 missed tackles to 31. Brilliant. I mean, like I said, you want them a little lower, but I mean, 29's fine. 11 errors to 10. Penalties conceded 4 to 7. 2 ruck infringements apiece. Cracking game. Bulldogs can be just fine. Let's have a little look see both these runs over the next few weeks, all right? Because both teams want to finish in the top 4. Bulldogs, from memory, they're Draw does get a lot harder. All right, so we've gone too far. And they have no... Now, this is a little concern. I haven't even looked. I'm not looking at the screen right now. They now currently have no buys left. So pretty much from round 17 to round 27, no buys. So definitely don't want to rack up any injuries. I'm not saying lucky, Bulldogs got lucky, but they have had quite a few late injuries around all their buys, which has sort of buyed them a little more time. But look, we've got Broncos next week, missing Origin stars. Now, this could go either way. But Broncos did towel them last time, but no Payne, no Paddy. Maybe no Reece Walsh. So maybe even no Ezra Mann as 18th man. Who knows? And Jacob Kiraz has been brought in as 18th man, so he will be missing. A handy replacement in Kiraz, though. Now, Cowboys have been awful. That should be fine, even though it is in Townsville. Dragons, very, 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 very winnable. Sea Eagles, very winnable. Tigers, very winnable. Warriors, could be tough. Roosters, could be tough. Storm, could be tough. Panthers, again, is going to be tough. Especially they're probably going to be playing for a top 4 spot around here. And then Bulldogs, Sharkies. I mean, it doesn't look tough right now. So actually, Bulldogs are in pretty damn good shape. It's not as hard a run as we sort of thought. They're going to be just fine. Now on to Panthers. Eels next week after the bye. So there'll be State of Origin players backing up. It's on the Sunday, so everyone should back up on that one unless someone gets injured. Rabbitohs, tick. Tigers, tick. Titans, tick. Eels, Knights, tick. Storm, going to be a toughie. Raiders, going to be a toughie. Doggies, going to be a toughie. Dragons, tick. So 3 tough games. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 very winnable games. So they're going to be playing finals this year, boys, unless something goes catastrophically wrong with an injury or something like that. So, man, you shout the Panthers, man. And just quietly, if they do win this is the greatest rugby league team of all time, and I don't want to hear the St George argument. Doesn't count. To do this, missing all those players, missing Luai, missing Fish, missing everyone, with no home ground, with coming last in about round 14 to win in the comp, it will be the greatest achievement in rugby league history. And I will not take any arguments. It's a fact. On to the Sea Eagles versus the West Tigers, guys. Now, this was a low scoring until the end, and I remember we were chatting in the Discord, just going, man, how boring is this low-scoring game compared to bloody last night's? It was an absolute stink. It wasn't a try till the 39th minute. And then there was one just on the other side of half-time, not one long after that. And then there was a few more that had sort of made the score a little higher. But, man, this was a bizarre game. I thought both teams felt like they didn't want to win it. It was more like both teams didn't want to look like you could tell they were both sort of desperate for a win, and both didn't want to make tons of mistakes, and they were just tentative, and it didn't look like any team really wanted to grab the game by the scruff of the neck. And like I said, it was just, it was bizarre. I thought Tigers, even though they're on a 5-game skid, I actually thought this was one of their worst ones. They never really looked in it. Just wild, but both teams completed about 80%, 5 line breaks to 3. Manly won through the middle. I mean, Manly are running on fumes with their forward pack, and Tigers have a really good forward pack, and they got really worked through there, which is pretty disappointing. And let's come down to the missed tackles, 25 to 30, pretty solid. 14 errors from the bloody Seagulls to 8. It's pretty damn wild. So I don't know, man. I'm not sold on the Seagulls. Yeah, I'm going to need to see more from them, but just Cherry Evans, I mean, I thought he looked really bad for the first 50 minutes, and then, like I said, this whole stat line sort of fills up for them in the final 50 minutes of the game, let's say, or second half or whatever. But man, it was a pretty damn poor first half. But look, maybe that's just a norm this year. Like, we're about to talk about the Raiders, who I'm going to sit here and say, man, they need to be better in second halves. But maybe teams just can't be good for 80 minutes at the moment. Maybe just the way the rules are set up or whatever. It's just, it really seems to be like you can only really be good for a half of a footy game. It's really, really weird. But yeah, it was just wild. Now, Tom Trbojevic in the centres, I didn't love it. I was watching the Matty John show just then, and they were like, yeah, man, looked really good, and the way he swung around. I was talking more defensively. He looked like he can't move laterally very well. There was one, it didn't register as a missed tackle. Let's have a look at his missed tackles in the end, but it wasn't like a bad miss or anything. So, yeah, there's only one, but there was two where he got just straight up beaten just because he had to move laterally better, and they didn't register as missed tackles because he didn't lay a hand on them. He just went straight through the corridor where he was sort of supposed to be, and yeah, it was just not. Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't love it. I wasn't sitting there going, yeah, this is going to work. This is nice. Hopper had a stinker, but yeah, like it was good. I thought honestly, Matt Lodge and Take Aho, I was really worried about them. I thought they were okay. I don't love Tavanga at the 9, but yeah, look, not bad. Simply, I thought was pretty good off the bench. Not bad, but just not quite. I'm just not loving it. But look, at the end of the day, it's a 13-plus win. If it jags their season back into gear, that's great. Who they got next week? They got the Bunnies. The Bunnies, besides this weekend, have been pretty good. So that'll be interesting. That'll be really interesting. On to the Tigers, man. Look, they just look like headless chooks out there. Luai late scratching. They just look very unorganised. I mean, they had Latte Fanu and who was the halves? Dewey. Oh, actually, when Dewey came on, he straightened them up real nice. So I actually thought they looked pretty good when he came in. But where's the 6? Why does it go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7? Is there someone missing? Who played 6 in the end? What's going on here? Oh, Appy. Yeah, that sort of. Yeah. And just quietly, Talon De Silva just ended up at the Eels. That's wild. He's good. He's really good. Parramatta are a bit like the Broncos at the moment. They've got tons of dummy halves. But yeah, it was an odd one. Like this was the thing I just didn't understand from Luai, right? Not Luai, bloody Benji Marshall. Like Heath Mason wants to be in the halves. Sonny Taruva wants to be a fullback. They get Buller out. And they put Api Coruscant, who's one of the best still. Like, I'm not saying he's the best or anything, but he's still one of the best number 9s. Move him out of his preferred position. Weaken your bench by putting Talon De Silva from the bench onto the starting team. Like, and then when they put Dewey in, I don't know. Like, Heath could have gone to 6 or not whatever, but anyway, it just didn't look right. It looked clunky. It looked like it'd been thrown together, and that's pretty much what it looks like Benji did. Like, I don't think much thought went into the goddamn team list. Seriously, it's just wild. Like, there's a good rugby league team here, but I just thought he couldn't solve the Rubik's Cube and I thought Heath Mason actually plays quite direct as well. So whether he wanted to put Dewey or Scout, but the weird thing is then he put a winger on the bench and it worked out because they lost an edge, but just weird. I just don't understand it. Benji's been pretty good lately, but I just thought he fumbled this. This was actually a Benji fumble more than anything, running around like headless chooks, no direction, going sideways. You got players playing in positions where they don't want to play, but like I said, Sonny Taruva's I've seen him play for Fiji. He's a really good fullback. He's actually really nice. I'm pretty sure he played a few games there for Penrith as well when Dylan Edwards was out. Very, very good. So anyway, we'll see how it all plays out with the Tigers, but skidding down the ladder real quickly, guys. Skidding down there. Down into the bottom 4. I think that's where I put them. This year. Let's move on to the next one. Knights Raiders. Talk about a good team. Man, so this first half. So, look, we'll just talk about it for a second. So, it tries to... Sasangi? Is that how you say it? Man, he is good, eh? They said in the telecast... Is that what you call it? Telecast? He used to be 5'8". He's massive. He's absolutely enormous. Yeah, he's bloody good, isn't he? I mean... didn't even miss Huddy Young. He was that good. Like, that's how good he was. He was absolutely incredible. This first half was absolutely brilliant. Like I said, warning signs. That's 2 weeks in a row. They've sort of fallen off. I don't mind if you don't win the second half, if you got a nice 20-point lead or 18-point lead. We've seen Penrith do that in the past where they will literally kick out. They won't dominate you or anything, but they'll be winning 18-0 at halftime. Like I'm talking last year back. And then in the second half, it's just all percentage plays. They score 1 try. The other team scores 1 try. They win 24-6. Melbourne used to do this as well back in the day. And you sort of, I don't know, it wasn't great. It wasn't a huge win. It was only the Tigers they played, or whatever, or a bottom team that, they couldn't put them away. Well, they won 13 plus and didn't spend any energy, So if that is the plan, though, it's not quite going to plan because some of these teams are getting a little close at the end there, if that makes sense. So, yeah. Not concerning, but just like we're talking about them as a genuine premiership contender now. So hang on, boys, I'm steaming hot here. Oh, it's better, lads. So yeah, just something to keep an eye on. Now, what else have I got here? Yeah, but like that first half, I mean, it was a dead set slaughter. Like, Knights could not control the ruck. Like, they were just getting these lightning quick play the balls, couldn't control the offload. They were catch tackling. They were literally just someone run into them and they'd catch them and just fall down with them. Like, there was I don't think a shoulder got used by the Knights in the first half. And then their end of sets were just awful. But they did come good in the second. They were pretty damn good in the second, the Knights, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, Knights as well. I mean, I think what they say, 10 games or 11 games this year, they've scored 6 points or less in the first half. And I just feel really sorry for their fans. I mean, the amount of they always get good crowds there. It's always cold and wet on a Thursday night, and they're just not performing. I think that's 6 losses in a row at home for the Newcastle Knights. That's just god awful. But yeah, they're just way off. They've lost Kalen Ponga as well. Fletcher Sharp's out for a while. They could low-key be a smoky for the spoon. I mean, seriously, they are definitely a chance of the spoon. They're lucky they're for and against us, all right. If Titans, Bunnies and Eels get their stuff together, because I don't think Titans, Rabbits, Eels or the Tigers have been horrible. Like, I think, let me know what you think, guys. Like, I could see any one of those teams having a month where they win 3 games and lose 1. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Or maybe over a 5-week period, win 3, lose 2. Like, I could see that from these teams. They're not playing horribly. Maybe the Titans might struggle with that one, but you catch what I'm saying. Like, the spoon's still wide open, boys. She's still wide open. But yeah, we're going to have to wait and see how that it plays out, but not good signs. But look, man, I was super, super impressed with the Raiders for that sort of 50-minute period anyway. I mean, look, the only thing, like Jamal Foggy, that 40-20, like Kalen Ponga read it and he couldn't stop it. He was in position to stop it and couldn't. It was such a good kick. Man, I was thinking about this. I'm like, why is he leaving? Like, you're going to Manly now? That place is in dumpster fire at the moment. No disrespect, but it is. Like, it's all over the place. Man, you got a genuine shot this year, and this is a young team. You get another genuine shot next year. Well, I don't know. I would have hung around for a little bit less coin. Maybe it was the length of the contract they were offering or whatever, but Sasangi was brilliant. Kyo Weeks was brilliant. Now, Raiders have always had this issue, man. Like, they have a beast on the team that just doesn't get enough ball. Like, how long have we said it for? I've said it for the last 3 years about Tomoko. I'm like, give him the ball. He's untackleable one-on-one. He never goes. I feel like Weeks needs to see a bit more ball as well, and he did. And every time he does, he looks so good. He is so slick. I'll put him up there with Hammer. Like, the way he moves across the ground, it's beautiful. Like, it is absolutely beautiful. Strange, man. I tell you what, there's some good young halves getting around. He's another one of those halves under 21 that's just on another planet. There was 2 or 3 just one-on-one tackles with second rows where he didn't tackle them, he put them down. Like, he will put you down. I've said this about the last 3 weeks. I don't know who is doing strength and conditioning at that club, but they need a raise because all these outside backs are... Even Xavier Savage. Xavier Savage used to get monstered in traffic, and contact. He was always fast, but he dead set. He's damn near dominant in a lot of his contact now in 18 months' time. Bro, I don't know what they're feeding him out there, but absolutely incredible. I thought Papa was great in this as well. But yeah, I've just written down as well. Just second week in a row, a little sleep at the wheel in the second half, but we're going to have to wait and see. But look, they're now on top of the ladder and absolutely flying with 3 buys in hand and a soft draw as well. They are 100% in prime position to win the minor premiership. They're 100% in position to make the grand final. I think I'll put them ahead of just about everyone to make the grand final right now. They really are. They are flying. There's a good chance, boys, because Doggies could lose a few games. We've seen, they play a few tough games in there as well. Melbourne are 3 wins behind at this point. They might be able to rest players. Like, do you know how insane that is? They might be able to rest players in the final 2 rounds. They might be able to rest, a couple of their superstars, Papa, or Horsburgh, or, a couple of those guys, the final rounds, and just get some minutes in their younger guys' legs. Get guys like Moody and stuff some game time. Even just like Penrith have done this the last few years. I don't know if you've noticed, but they usually stagger them as sometimes they'll rest the whole team, but they'll just you just watch Moses Leota, Fisher Harris's, even Isaiah Yeo. Just their numbers come down just a bit. They go from 55 minutes a game to 45. Just 10 minutes less work for the last 5 or 6 rounds when they've been way out ahead. So yeah, they might have the luxury doing that. Tarpany, we don't need 65 from you this time, bro. You can have 40. Maybe they carry an extra forward on the bench and get run some first grade in the Moody, or some of who's the dude with the mullet that's killing it. Looks pretty nice as well. But look, man, shout out to the Mill. They're killing it, absolutely killing it. Broncos versus the Wahs day game. I was expecting a few more points in this one, but it was Metcalf, bro. Look, Wahs fans, this isn't good at all. This is really, really bad. But I said glass half full. I gave you guys a little bit of a glass half full when Barney went down. Josh Barnett. Metcalf's down. That gives you guys a huge, just like it did with Barney, a huge hit to win in the comp or whatever. It really does. But again, and this is one of the reasons why I was high on the Wahs, they have a really good replacement. Tamari Martin isn't a slouch. He's a genuine NRL first grader. Like, he's a very good player. He's just not as good as Metcalf. Just like I said, the glass half full with Barney going down, you're going to see more minutes from Vaymunga, Halasima, and these guys. Glass half full, you have a genuinely good number 7 sitting there. I'm not too sure how long Chance is going to be out for. Let's have a look, see if it's been updated yet. DWZ round 22, need to be confirmed. Wow, they got Ali to come. Man, they got some talent on. See, they don't have a ton out. Like we look at they got some pretty good talent out too. But a few fringies are on this list. You know what I mean? But that's their starting centre, their starting winger, their number 7, their fullback, and their starting front rower and captain. He's captain? I think so. Is it him or Fish? Can't remember. But anyway, you catch my drift. That's some talent. That's some real talent. Sucks, man. But look, let's have a little look see at the Wahs getting home and see if they're done for, or what they're gonna have to do to get home in the top 4. Because I really want to see them play finals. I really, really want to see them play finals. I don't want to see them slip out. All right, so they've got to buy. Great. They can chill out. That gives these guys a free week to get better. So round 21, so a free week. That doesn't matter. Oh, they don't get much back, do they? I mean, Chance could be back. Who knows? Maybe Ali's a little hell of schedule or something, but not great. But bye. Tigers winnable. Knights winnable. Titans winnable. Okay. Then they should have everyone back. Well, have a few people back by round 21. Round 22. Was it round 21 or 2? Round 22, DWZ back as well. Chance. And then Doggies, which will be tough. Dragons fine. It's not a bad run home. Wahs, you should be okay. Wahs, you should be okay. You get. I'd say I'm not locking it in, but I'm putting it in pencil. The Warriors will 100% be playing finals. But it's the team that they've been playing with, that they are going to be playing with, is still better than a lot of those teams they're playing. They've got to play good footy. Like, you can't slip in the NRL. But they're still good enough. Onto this game quickly. Like, for the Broncos, I know this might sound weird, but I thought this was actually a really, really good game from them. I actually thought they played really good team footy. Like, there was no... I don't know, I just felt like it was a team effort. It just had this weird feeling that I thought everyone dipped their toe in. Everyone had a moment where they did something really good. It wasn't like, man, Payne Haas is just carrying this team. You know what I mean? There was actually a period there where I was sitting there with my son watching it, and he's like, is Payne Haas on? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, yeah, there he is, just there. And I was like, you know what I mean? It was just like, you know, sometimes Payne Haas is just breaking his back and no one else is doing anything. I was even sitting there like, man, Jordan Ricky did something nice. Pia Kura did something nice. Stags put a big shot on. You know, it was like nice. Everyone played good, and then everyone sort of just had a big moment where they can go away and be like, yeah, nice. That was good. You know, like, it was just good. Really low missed tackles. We'll check how many there are in a second. And just good high percentage footy from the team. I was really impressed. Really, really impressed. Like, I never felt we were really in this game from the opening few minutes when Broncos scored early. 85% completion rate, brilliant. If you can complete at 85% and you have Reece Walsh as your X factor, your joker in the hole, or ace, AK or pocket aces in the hole, you know what I mean? Like, that's very good. You match it. You have so-and-so, I have Reece Walsh. Scary. Ran for more metres, 6 line breaks to 4, sort of had them everywhere really, 36 tackle breaks to 17. Wahs were playing the ball a lot quicker, 12 offloads to 6. But we come down here to the defence. I mean, this is, with that high completion rate and low missed tackles, 17 it ended up being in the end. And like I said, the strike they have in that team, scary. Scary. I know it won't seem as... The thing is, though, it won't seem as scary as past Broncos teams where they'll put 60 on you. Where they'll put 40 on you in 15 minutes. But this is more scary because this is very hard to beat. You might think, sort of, but Wahs were never in this. I know but you get what I'm saying, right? Like a high completing Broncos team with a Payne Haas, with a Paddy Carrigan, with Reynolds and all that, and then you have your X factors. That's alarming. So, as far as the Warriors went, look, I thought they just got jumped here a little bit. Again, just unlucky. I said this last week. They had a few injuries at a key time. Chance. Then they had... who else went down? Man, I wish they just... I bet they just wish they rested Metcalf in this one. Seriously. Course, he was awful. I think he had a Broncos jersey on. He had a absolute poo of a game. I thought Chanel was actually pretty solid in this. There was someone else who was absolute butt cheeks. Can't remember. Halasima again. He just keeps there. He is so good, man. He is so damn good. Was it Nick Hora? Someone else? Can't remember. Anyway, it was cool to see RTS at fullback as well. But again, I just don't think they quite handled that reshuffle of players getting injured. But look, they played good. They played to the end. Just Broncos played better. Let's just leave it at that. Broncos played better. Warriors still in prime position there, but let's have a real quick look at the Broncos and see how their window's looking. So they're up in 5th now. Let's have a little look-see at their run home. Bulldogs, tough. Titans, it is a tough game for them. Titans actually normally show up pretty hard. Then a bye. Eels, Bunnies, Storm, tough. Same thing with the Titans. Dolphins, always a tough game for them. Knights should get it. Cowboys should get it. And then, so, definitely going to be tough to get into the top 4, in my opinion. But they're looking much more finals bound than they were 3 weeks ago, put it that way. So, yeah, like I said, I want the Broncos to make it. I want them to get a home final. I want them to do well. I think the competition's better when the Broncos are doing well. So, fingers crossed they make it. And it's definitely doing better when the Warriors make it. So, up the Wahs. Don't put your heads down. Keep on trucking. You got this, boys. If Wahs can just have a really good finish to the season and just finish on a high note, even if they lose, they push Melbourne and get in a semi-final. They can just go, we get Mitch Barnett yet, and we've got all these youngsters with all this finals experience, with all this game experience / finals experience under their belt now. We are now officially a problem. Dragons, Eels. Man, this game... One sec, boys. Not. Dragons have been so bad. Like, the first half of this game, they were absolutely incredible. Like, Parramatta have been playing really, really good footy. And I know people will just sort of think, no, the Dragons were awesome in the first half of this game. They were actually really good. They pumped the middle, skinned edges. They really showed up, man. Like, I was actually really impressed. Like, coast to coast. It was a 10 out of 10 performance in the first half. I know it's not like the Eels are a top 4 team or anything. They're literally a bottom 4 team, but they've been playing better than a bottom 4 team, and I don't think they played that horribly. I genuinely thought the Dragons were incredible. So, shout out to them for getting up for this one and ended up closing it out in the end there. But they really needed this win. It was great. They lost a player in warm up, 3 HIAs, 2 injuries. So Dragons finished with no players on the bench. Like, that is absolutely insane. But I was sitting there watching it, and I was in that Discord chat, everyone saying how trash the Eels were. I was like, bro, I actually just think that Dragons are playing awesome. Like, it was really, really good. I've been so disappointed with them, and I just thought they looked absolutely great. And then had the courage to, Parramatta coming over the top of them strong, to, hold them out with no people on the bench. And Zach Lomax sold pretty hard, but hey, what do you do? And hey, was Adokar really out? Look, the more you look at it, I think he probably did step on it, but I wish they threw it up to there. I do not think that ref, because there was a body in the way as well, I don't think he probably should have made that call. He should have let it go up to the, where they could have slowed it down and had a proper look. It was too close to make on the spot, if that makes sense. But anyway, it is what it is. Man, Eels have this weird thing. They need to sort out their starts real bad, but they're leaking a try just about very early in the game, in just about every game. But it's through the middle. Like, if someone goes to sleep on an edge, you know what I mean? And maybe that team just spun it early and you weren't expecting it, and they just shoot down the sideline and score on you. Whatever. Teams just, like, skinning them through the middle. Like, but then you're like, well, this might be a long night for them. And then they sort of tighten it up and the defense looks okay again, but it happens all the time. Like, someone will just score straight through the middle. It's bizarre, man. Really, really weird. Really weird. But look, not much positive to say about the Eels. Like, they look better. I thought Dillbags actually looked okay. Iongi was just so good, man. He's absolutely enormous. But I'll tell you what, just for next year, Kelmer and Katonga, like, we talk about Katoa and Blore and, good second row combinations. Like, I reckon these two could be a really good one. They were a handful every time they carried the ball, and the way they got used was real nice as well. Man, I really like what they're doing. Like, they're still a bit green. Like, it sucks bloody Tuolangi's got another 3-game suspension, but I really felt like if they could just close the season off strong, he's ruined it now. It was a complete accident. It was a crusher tackle. I reckon they could have got, 10 games left or 9 games, however many they actually have left. They really could have built something nice for next year. They look really good. They look really, really good. Just so the Eels obviously will be shooting for the finals next year, right? The more questions they can answer this season, the better their season will be next year, if that makes sense. So they go, this is our team now, So Bulldogs sort of did it last year. The year before, they were sorting stuff out. Last year, they still had a few question marks at the start of the season. Remember, they had Hutcho in there and all this sort of stuff. And then they just didn't have it. And by about round 6 or 7, they were like, sweet, this is our team. Boom, went to work, made the finals. So the more questions they can answer now for next year, I think the better. Look, Dragons, a great win, but I think they might be in a little trouble for the rest of the season. I know they're probably shot up the ladder a little bit. They're in 11th, so they're not in bad position. They can still obviously make finals very easily. They're only 2 points behind the 8th place. But just a lot of injuries now, and just guys like, I feel like Flanagan, even though he had a really good game, scored a try, probably got the media off his back for a couple of weeks. He's going to have a few more stinkers. I feel like, Val's going to have I'm going to think there's going to be games where Gutho gets shut down, so there's no offense. You get what I'm saying? Just stuff like that. So I'm not like, even though it was brilliant and they needed it, I'm not like, man, watch out, these Dragons are coming, So we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But let's have a little quick look-see here. 1,700 metres to 65. Yeah, see, Parramatta won a lot of these stats. That's wild. A lot of these stats. More offloads. So they really 30 missless tackles. Man, there you go. I mean, just being real. Okay. I actually thought Parramatta was going to take this game off them. I had that I felt like when they were coming down the field and then Zach Lomax threw that stupid offload, I was extremely confident that Parramatta, I could see holes everywhere. I honestly think if Lomax goes to the ground, shifts it left, gets the ball in Dylan Brown's hand, the way Dragons were going back and backpedaling and the way they were they were coming back and sliding backwards and sliding across in their defence, I almost guarantee Dylan Brown goes down there and goes, puts Katonga over or dummy go himself or whatever. I was extremely confident. So that's what I mean. I was beautiful first half, but man, it really fell apart there in the second. So we'll see how it all plays out. But good win for the Dragons. They really needed it. We won't have to hear about them on 360 this week. How good's that? On to this one, boys. I took under 11 tries in this one. These Dolphins, man. These Dolphins. Look, just overall, before I get to what I want to talk about, Dolphins look incredible, man. They look absolutely incredible. They're just leaking a few too many points. Probably 2 tries in this game, to be fair. But I'm not one of these guys who's like, defense wins premierships. I think it's a combination of the two, and I think it's very hard for another team to score when all you're doing scoring. But they are a little too loosey-goosey there. Just a little. Penrith, the last few years, have sort of averaged between 10 and, I think, 15, 16 points conceded a game per season. I think you can get away with about 18, which is 3 tries. Not much more. Now, if I get time this week, I'm starting a petition, boys, to get rid of this chick. Will you sign it? Will you sign it with me? Because she's just got to go. She's got to go, man. She is awful. I cannot sit there and remember. She gets some calls right, obviously, but I cannot remember. And I'm not. You guys know I'm not one that complains about the refs, but I cannot remember a game where I was like, man, she got every call right this game. You should at least have some games like that. She's god awful. She's got to go. Let's talk about it, man. Reece Walsh or the Hammer. This video will be out. Let's not talk about it, actually, because by the time the video comes out, the Queensland team list will be announced. But Hammer looks great to me. The thing, I think Hammer's got more... Reece's got more skills and it's a little bit more dangerous with ball in hand when the line's set. But the ball goes to... It was funny, man. I can't even remember when it was or whatever, but when the ball touches the ground, I almost just expect Hammer to pick it up and run away with it. Like that one, he did do that. I couldn't even see him. But when the ball hit the ground, I'm like, oh, where's Hammer? And he just went, zoom. Like, it's like, he's got this weird knack to just be where the ball is when it hits the ground, scoop it up, and once he's gone, it's a wrap. Like, it's a wrap. So, I don't know if you guys remember, but I remember when Reece Walsh got knocked out, he actually looked really good at fullback. I feel like he would be a better fullback surrounded by superstars, if that makes sense. Like, it's not like Dolphins team isn't stacked or anything, but you get what I mean? Like, I feel like if because he doesn't, when you're in, they don't need him to ball play. All they need him is to not drop the ball, get the ball back to a decent spot. They don't need big carries. And then just like, if there is a broken line, go, son. He'll probably scoop up a couple, but yeah, 4 tries. You know, the State of Origin jersey's up for grabs, and Reece had a really good game, and then Hammer's just like, hold my beers. Seriously crazy, but his game definitely wasn't as good as this guy's. Isaiah Katoa. Man. Special, bro. I'm not going to harp on about it too much because I know everyone will this week and everyone will get sick of hearing about Katoa, but he's getting brought into Origin camp, and there was just one ball, and you guys will know the one I'm talking about, right? Which I love this, man. Where he went into the line, held it up, and then as someone committed, he threw it to Nikorima. You guys remember this one? He didn't throw it to Nikorima. He threw it to where he wanted to be. And that, you get what I'm saying? So then I can't really do it with my hands, but the came up and he threw it inside him. So Nikorima if he threw it to Nikorima, he gets tackled, but he threw it in front of Nikorima, which is almost side on with this guy, and he clutches it and then that is way beyond his years. Way, way, way beyond his years. That is high level, high IQ stuff. And I know it doesn't sound that crazy, but in the heat of a game, when you haven't, it's not like an NFL where you get a break and you work out your plays. Like, you're doing all this shit on the fly. You know, it's great on the fly. To do stuff like that is special, man. He's a special player, bro. What do you end up with? 163 metres, one line break assist, 3 try assists, in a fast play the ball. 3 seconds. Below the average of the game. What he's missed tackles. 7. Woo! Sort that out, brother. That won't fly at Origin. Damn, that's Reed Marnie numbers. But yeah, I felt like he missed a few. But man, he's good, bro. He's good. Hammer 4 tries. Look, Keon, bro. Keon. I felt like Bunnies, they got pumped in this game, bros. They really got pumped. I know they scored a couple tries there at the end and all this sort of stuff. It sort of made it look a bit more flattering, but Keon was god-awful in this one. Kepi, at the start of this game, like, I was really impressed with him about the first 6 weeks, and I've never been impressed by Kepi. I've never been a fan at all. To me, I feel like that big burly front rower that doesn't really have much to him, but he's a workhorse, is sort of dead. Like, I think you have to have a little bit of something to you now. And but he really tidied his game up, and I thought he was really good the first 6 weeks. But the reason why I never liked him, and he did this exact thing, like, he's just the sort of guy that he'll make an error just at the worst time, like, and then compound it by like mouthing off, or, you know, like, he'll give a penalty, like, he'll drop the ball and then they're coming out of their own, and then give a penalty on top of it, and you're just like, so you went from attacking to dropping the ball to giving a penalty, now they're attacking. It's just stuff like that, which wasn't great. But Cody Walker did his hamstring as well. This is what's crazy about Katoa as well. Did I end up taking the Bunnies in this one? No, I had the Dolphins. I did take the Dolphins in my video, but then I changed. What was I saying? I took the Bunnies initially because I was like, Campbell Graham back. I'm like, right, Jack White on one edge, Campbell on the other. That's going to shut down a lot of what Katoa was doing. bro, all those try assists and everything were on Campbell's edge. He torched him. I'm pretty sure, but that pass I was talking about a little earlier, I'm pretty sure that was Campbell Graham who he dummied out and got him to move. Incredible, man. Absolutely incredible. Look, Bunnies, not great. They're on a bit of a skid now. They've got to sort this out. Because all of a sudden, Dolphins just, like, at the start of the year, like, how much this season's changed since the first 4 rounds. I mean, if we look at this, so Dolphins lost their first 4 games, right? Let's just say, for arguments, they were in a couple of these. If they just went, the only reason I don't think people are taking the Dolphins seriously is because they did have those 4 games skid and they just got beaten convincingly by 4 teams, and I think we immediately just sort of wrote them off for the year. But let's just say they went 2-2. They'd be sitting there with 10 wins, up there with the Wahs and Storm. Nuts, man. Absolutely nuts. But yeah, Bunnies, sort your lives out. You got a lot. I don't know, man. I'm not dumb enough to be like they're gone skis, and I don't think they're going to play finals or win anything. But I'm not writing them off to being a terrible team for the rest of the year. But yeah, Wayne's got his work cut out for him because he doesn't seem to be getting out of those players that we were just impressed. I thought he got a lot out of Kepi and Humphreys and even Havili and Aiken and Arrow at the start of the year. Arrow's been pretty good the whole time, and Hubner and all that stuff. But they've sort of fallen away now, back to their old ways, and they're on a 5-game skid now, something like that. Not good. They're way down. I mean, second last, minus 144 as well. So getting pumped as well. Not good. Shout out the Dolphins. Storm versus the Sharks. Now, I did just watch a replay of this one, and I'm not lying, I was sort of fast forwarding through it. Just, some of the stuff, but Sharkies are in trouble, man. They're in big, big trouble. Big trouble. Who they got next week? They'll buy, right? Yeah, they do. Man, I wasn't high on the Sharkies at the start of the year like most people were, but I didn't think they were going to fall off this bad. They're in 10th with 9 rounds to go. Like, man, I put them not in the top 4 on my preview, my predictions, but I think I put them 6th, 5th or 6th, maybe 7th at the lowest. And one of the reasons was they have had the easiest draw the last few years, the last 2 in particular. They had a much harder draw this year. It was far from the hardest, but it was much harder, and they are dropping these games. They are dropping these hard games. Maybe they were genuinely just flat track bullies the whole time. It's I mean, they were in this game at halftime 10-6, but I never felt like Storm were going to lose this. Just I don't know, man. The defense looks down. I mean, I don't know what they're conceding every game now, but it's way up on last year. They look slower through the middle. Like Storm, bloody, like 89%, 42 completed sets. That's a lot, But everyone talked about their forward pack this year. 1,200 metres, bro. Like, Melbourne's forward pack's good. It's not elite. Extra 100 post contact, only 1 line break. 27 tackle breaks, 32 metre set distance. AFB can get you 30 metres a carry, I mean, tackle efficiency is pretty damn good, but just don't know. AFB just, I don't know if he suits this team. I don't know. I want to have a look at some of these player stats. Give me a look at some of these numbers. Well, what did the Sharkies dish out? Because Sharkies have traditionally been that team that their forwards will get you numbers, but also their, their back 5 really help out. But yeah, look at that. I thought they fell down. Will Kennedy 76. Whoops. These numbers are way down on like what they usually rack up. I mean, 137, 140, that's fine, but then 60, 108, and 76. These are These are rookie numbers. AFB got you 125, but they're in big trouble. Big trouble. And then we have, Melbourne just racking up the meter like far long. I mean, there was a line break there. Was it a line break? Oh, it doesn't count as a line break because he got it off the kick. How funny was Far Longo doing his hammy, eh? Shouldn't laugh, but Paps 178, Grant 158, Nick Meaney only 66, but then Coates 152, Munster 118. Geez, I'm loving his running game at the moment. Now, Blore and Katoa, man, 123 and 145. Melbourne haven't looked incredible over the last, 2 months, but one of the things I was sort of looking at, like, I remember last year it was like, turn Blore under, turn Katoa under, boom, man, they were like pistons, boom, boom, boom. Very hard to contain, and I felt like they weren't doing that much this year, but, man, Katoa was on one in this game. He is, bro, he's a player. He's really, really good. And those two 100% are going to have to be as good. Katoa definitely was this game, but that good if they want to have a genuine crack this year. They really are. Because, you look at the Dogs, genuine strike weapons there. Canberra, genuine strike weapons there, Even the Warriors, if they, they do have genuine strike weapons there, they're going to have to... It just opens your edges up because you have to compress on them. You have to compress on them. You can't be like, you got him? You got Katoa, lad? No, you got to jam him, and it just opens up your edges. So, yeah, Storm, they're going to be a problem, man. Should we have a real quick look at Storm, who they got next few weeks? Because they're going to need to hold this top 4 spot. Cows, trot. Knights, trot. Seagulls, trot. Roosters could be toughy. Eels should do it in a trot. Broncos could be tough. We don't know how the Broncos are going to look in a few weeks' time. Panthers could be tough. Doggies, they got some tough games. So top 4 spot's not locked up for them yet. They got some tough games. This wasn't enough to me to go, oh, Melbourne's back. But very good performance still. On to a slanger, which sort of ended up relatively entertaining in the end. I needed Titans over bloody 20 and Cowboys under 29. So bloody close. Just fucking drink water, bro. And then Clifford took over. I was like, oh, yeah, sweet. Yeah, he'll miss one. Nah. Bro. Kick 5 from 5, lad. You're kidding me. Where's Zach Lomax when you need him, eh? Man, look, good first half. I mean, let's have a look at some of his... Cowboys just needed a win. They just really needed this. The pressure, the drums were beating. It was just... when a coach starts coming down to the sidelines, like he normally coaches up in the box, but he's on the side, like something's up, excluding Ricky, of course. I remember Cleary did it, like not long ago, when Penrith were on their skid, he came down and was sussing everything out, what's going on down there. I guess feel the energy, stuff like that. But, yeah, they needed this, man. And Drinky was pretty damn enormous in this. He was bloody good. He was, what his numbers end up being? Surely he put some bloody, what is his fantasy? 63. Oh, not ridiculous, but pretty solid still. I didn't kick all the conversions as well. That's probably why it's under 70. 2 line breaks, 1 try assist, 3 tackle breaks, and a try himself. Not bad. 143 metres. Oh, there you go, Drinky. We don't need 200 from you, but give us 150. You know what I mean? Give us a 150. Tuolangi put his hand up for Origin. But look, they still leaked 20. Just defence optional in this game. Like, it was not great conditions, and they were still, even though, like, I'm not going to bag the Cowboys because they got the dub. Sweet. Mission accomplished. They can chill out. But they do now lose State of Origin players. Do they have a bye? Oh, we can just go up here, can't we? They have the Storm. Will that be... Oh, we'll have a look. That's going to be tough. But yeah, definitely not something to write home about. I wouldn't be overly impressed, but they got the dub. They looked in control for a lot of the game. Their stars looked good. I thought Nanai was good. I thought Tuolangi was good. I thought Drinkwater was good. Robson was good. You know what I mean? Like, all the main guys fired. So That's the main thing. Hopefully everyone else comes along for the ride. But definitely not sold. Where are they actually sitting? 12th. With a really bad for and against. They're going to have to rack up wins fast. They're going to have to rack up wins. They've only got 6 wins. But they've got a draw, which sort of puts them ahead. They're going to have to rack up some wins really quick. But yeah, look, I'm just monkey off their back. Go hard. Titan, man, look at that. Tackle efficiency. 20 missed tackles from the Titans. That's actually really good. That's incredible. 11 errors. 15 errors, man. Look, man, death riding the Titans. Something fierce. I really need them to lose to get the thing to make sure we make money on this season. And we've got 11k riding on it, and it's looking pretty tasty right now. I would have loved a win from the Bunnies and the Eels. That would have been real nice. But they lost as well, and yeah, Eels have a bye too, so come on, Bunnies, beat the Seagulls. Come on, Bunnies. Really need the Bunnies to beat the Seagulls next week. Really need, otherwise, Bunnies could be on the bottom of the table. That is insane. Yeah, look, Titans, as far as Titans went, man, like, I just felt like, man, I never would have thought, like, Jaden Campbell, I was sitting there going, man, I don't like him in the halves. He's, I don't want him organised. Bro, they look really organised when he's playing. And they just do not look organised when he's not. The amount of times on the 5th tackle, Tino or RCG got the ball. I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you passing it to Regan Campbell-Gillard on the 5th play? Like, what is going on, bro? Like, that is like under 12 stuff. Passing it to prop. That's when the dummy half just grabs the ball and passes it to the closest player. They did that. Like, Tino and RCG had the ball on the 5th between them 5 or 6 times throughout this game. Just outrageous stuff. Thought Jolliffe was great. Tino actually had a bit of a second half anyway. Jolliffe was great. Foma was good. Just give me a quick look at this. Their most missed tackle rate must be bloody low. Here we go. So Weaver's one. He's like Sexton. Like, he's actually real handy. Just doesn't quite have that little bit of pace to punch through the hole. Like, we see Sexton. There's a little and then a little gap will open up, and he goes just gets slapped, and he's on the ground. Weaver very similar. Like, he's actually a good footy player. Just like some just Brown and Moses and Cleary and whoever else. They just got that extra step of pace. It's not lightning. It's not race pace. But it's just fast enough when there is a gap there and your passing game's so good. Boom. Sexton. Sexton's been... I reckon if Sexton had Mitchell Moses' pace, he would have scored about 7 or 8 tries minimum. Maybe closer to 10 tries this year. He's been running real nice. Maybe not 10. He would have got a few. Doggies have been spreading them. Doggies fans know what I'm talking about. And he just gets jammed at the last second. Just doesn't quite have a step of pace he needs. But look, man, I'm not going to rave on about these two teams. Very poor. We're up to well over an hour. We've done enough chatting about footy. But Cowboys need to keep racking up these wins. Titans, you need to keep losing for me, bros, so we can collect that 11 grand at the end of the year. Now let's have a quick look at next week's games and get the hell out of here. Oh. So it's a short rounds. Bulldogs, Broncos, awesome. Canberra, Dragons, awesome, sort of. Cowboys, Storm with all the Origin players out. Roosters, West Tigers, Manly versus Rabbitohs, and then all these teams here have a bye. Absolutely insane. Thank you all so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.